So you want to learn how to launch a high ticket one-on-one coaching offer. That's why you clicked on this video, obviously. I am Sebastian. I am a growth operator. I partner up with your favorite gurus and help them launch and scale coaching offers, paid communities, courses, typical course seller. So if you're clicking on this video, you clicked on it for a reason. You're not an idiot. So I feel like I don't need to bore you with any sort of details. We can just honestly get straight into it. So creating a funnel. If you're watching this video, you probably know what a funnel is. You've probably heard of a funnel. You know what it is. You know roughly what it is. Basically, a funnel is the journey a customer takes from knowing you to just find out who you are to eventually buying whatever it is you sell. So at the top, we start with content. So that it could be YouTube videos, Instagram Reels, TikToks, posting IG stories. So this is just a way to get people to know who you are and get aware of you. Next point is the lead magnet. So you might wonder what the fuck is a lead magnet. A lead magnet is offering something free to the customer, the potential customer, in return for their email, their phone number. So we could give them a free ebook, give them free training, do a free class, launch a webinar, etc. And in return of that free resource and value that we give them, all we ask is for an email, a phone number, that sort of thing. So that later on we can pitch this lead with an offer. If they buy the offer, then hallelujah, we got a sale. If they do not buy the offer, then we put them into a nurture funnel. So we'll continue to send them emails, nurturing them, more free training, more free webinars, and we just keep giving them more free shit until they eventually buy. That is probably the dumbest way anyone has ever explained a funnel, but it's really not that hard. You just gotta rub a few brain cells together, and you can pretty much figure out how to do it. So for market research, it's pretty simple. There's a bit ways that you can do it, but one of the ways that I like to do it is run a story post on the creator's account, asking a bunch of questions. So asking them, their location, asking how old they are, how much budget they have, um, what would they want to see out of a mentorship program or a community or a course, whatever it is we plan to sell. What would they want to see out of that? Just a bunch of random questions like that, just to get, a bunch of insight into who we're actually, talking to, who the audience is, that sort of stuff. And then, look at their demographic. I mean, a lot of the times if the creator has been making content for a long enough time, they know, their demographic, they know who their audience is. So just talk to the creator. You can get a lot of market research done from that too. There's a lot of ways you can do market research, but those are just kind of the two that, kind of work for me. Moving on, we got creating an irresistible offer. So with an irresistible offer, you got to create an offer for your mentorship that sets you apart from the others. What is going to make someone buy your coaching offer over somebody else's? Because there are hundreds if not thousands of fucking coaching offers for pretty much every damn niche. You gotta have something that sets you apart, that makes you unique in some way, shape, or form. If you don't, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You're not gonna stand out. If you don't have like an irresistible offer, you're just not gonna stand out, and it's not gonna perform as well if you did. If a bigger creator who has a bigger audience is selling the same damn offer that you are selling, you are just going to get basically piled. You need to have some sort of guarantee that just sets you apart in some way, shape, or form. Now, pricing and timeline. So typically for a high ticket mentorship, I would do a minimum of at least $3,000. Anything below 3K is like not even worth it. I mean, high ticket is like 3K above anyway. So, but based off your market research, you will kind of get a rough gist of what your ideal price will be based off, how much your audience tells you how much they have to invest. And then there also needs to be a timeline. It can be 3 months, It can be 6 months. It can be 12 months. It could be a lifetime. But there needs to be a timeline included. There needs to be, the customer needs to know what the timeline is. Moving on to the landing page in VSL. This is very, very simple. Do not overcomplicate this. Seriously. It is so simple. You have a title at the top. All right, you have a title at the top of whatever the title is, whatever the fuck it is. Then you have the video. All right, you have the video of explaining what's inside their mentorship. Then you have a button below to join, and then you have fucking social proof. The four things you need. Do not overcomplicate this. People do way too much with landing pages, and they add so much shit. The customer, when the customer clicks your link to buy something, they already know they want to buy. If you put all this different shit here and there, you're just gonna confuse them, and you just make it more of a headache for them to actually buy. The simpler it is, the simpler it is for the customer to just get in and get out and buy. Just don't overcomplicate this. It's so simple. All right, next is the qualification process. Now, the reason why we want to qualify people is so that we are not wasting our time with people who can't even buy with what we have to offer. So we set up a type form inside of the landing page, like I just went over. In that button where they have, so I told you I have the text, we have the video, then they have the button to apply, and then they have some social proof. So in that button to apply, it'll take them to a type form. If you don't know what a type form is, Google it. So we set up to a type form. It basically is like a Google form. So I guess don't Google it. I'm just telling you what it is. A type form is like a Google form where you just ask a bunch of questions that they can answer. So these questions would include where they live, how old they are, get their contact information, how much money they have to invest, what their biggest pain points are, these sort of questions that'll pre-qualify these leads. If the lead qualifies, it'll take them to a booking link, to a Calendly link, where they can book a call with the closer. And yeah, set this up on your landing page. This is very, very crucial. You need this for a high-ticket mentorship. If you do not do this, you're going to be filling your calendar up with a bunch of random people who probably can't even fucking buy, who live in India. All right? You need to have a qualification. Hiring and managing the sales team. This is very simple. You hire a setter to call the leads up. So the leads I'm talking about is, or back at the beginning of the video when I went over the lead magnet. You give the customer a free resource in exchange for some contact information. So you have a setter call those leads up, qualify them, and book the appointments. And then you have a closer hop on those appointments and close the deal. It's pretty simple. All right, moving on to the last part: how to scale your coaching offer when it is launched. So it comes down to mostly your content. You got to have leads continuously coming through in order to scale. So it comes down to your content. So you either need to create more content without the quality of your content dropping off, or you need to create higher quality content without the consistency dropping off. If you can do both, that is great. But if you can't, pick one or the other. And then run webinars. Consistently run webinars every month or two. By running these webinars, it is a free resource. It is a free class that people get to show up to. And at the end of this webinar, you give them the call to action to join. And that is basically how you scale. There's obviously a lot more ways you can scale a coaching offer, but when it comes to, more leads flowing in for the offer, that's kind of like the main two. So that is it. Obviously, I feel like this was pretty dumbed down. I apologize in advance. I am not, used to making YouTube videos, and I kind of have like a speech impediment, I think. I might have minor autism, I'm not going to lie. This was probably the worst way someone has explained how to launch a coaching offer, but it is my way, and my way is the best. So it's fine. If you have a lot of questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. I will answer every single question that I get. If I didn't touch on anything that you still have any questions to, let me know. And if you are a creator who needs an offer run, who's looking to, launch an offer and scale an offer, message me on Instagram. We can talk things out. It has to be a good fit for me too. I don't partner with just anyone. This is a partnership, by the way. I don't see you as a client. I see you as a partner. We are business partners. So it has to be a good fit for me just as it is for you. So if you would like me to run your offer, message me on Instagram. We can hop on a call, talk things out, and see how we can work together. If you are a beginner growth operator, hopefully this helped you a little bit. But other than that, that is all I have for you. Like I said before, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll answer all your questions. And other than that, have a good day, boys. Leave a like, subscribe even maybe, please. And I'll see you guys on the next video. All right? Peace out.